Social media has brought so many people back into professional wrestling, but I also feel like it rotted their brain. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean by there is hundreds, thousands, even tens of thousands of people on a regular basis that tell me that social media has got them back interested in professional wrestling.
Let me start by saying clearly, because tone is going to matter in this. I agree with a lot Allentown's going to say about this video that I'm about to play. So hang on. Yeah. So I just want to make that clear, but let's talk about it. So if you guys don't know, this is Alan Owens. His Instagram is at Alan Owens. He does a lot of wrestling content, reaction videos, so on and so forth. He's one of many content creators who do video reactions of shows, but that's not the only thing he does. He does other video format, as you can see behind me, and he does shorts. So he's been around a lot of the fandom. You might see him at live shows, whether it's on AEW or WWE. And yeah, so he did an interesting video this week called Social Media Ruin Wrestling, at least in the thumbnail, but his actual video name is called WWE's Viral Obsession. Maybe he's using the AB system on YouTube. That's why there's two different titles. But let's get to
Social
this
media.
video. All right, guys, we're about to hear why WWE is obsessed with viral content.
Social media has brought so many people back into professional wrestling, but I also feel like it rotted their brain. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean by there is hundreds, thousands, even tens of thousands of people on a regular basis that tell me that social media has got them back interested in professional wrestling. Whether they took a lot of time off after they left high school and just weren't interested or were too cool for pro wrestling, or
They got busy with life.
they just didn't think the storylines were as good during that time period as they are now. The biggest thing that I've noticed is social media is the common factor in almost all these people. They end up seeing a reaction video.
Reaction video has become a big thing for wrestling social media now, especially during the COVID era. So it's here to stay, guys.
They saw a compilation of old wrestling that they remember. They saw some cool edits, a promo, a segment, somebody talking about it, and it got them back interested in the product. But
Mm.
I also believe that a lot of those people that come back that way end up
Okay.
having a major problem. Their attention span to the storylines doesn't compare to what it's being built storyline wise in the style nowadays.
Okay. Fair enough.
Most people that grew up either with Attitude Era wrestling or even Ruthless Aggression era wrestling, during those time periods, a lot of it was car crash television. Things were coming at you left and right. Bang, bang, bang. Storylines were happening 1 month, 2 months, maybe 3 months. And nowadays with pro wrestling, the creative and the bookers like to make the storylines last 3, 6, 9, even 12 months.
It's whatever to keep people engaged, I guess.
And I believe this negatively affects the product for multiple reasons. Number one is these
Okay.
people, they kind of have expectations where they want to see title changes more often. They want to see storylines not last as long. They want feuds to be a couple matches and they're done. They want things to just happen where moments are constantly going on. The problem is, it's not always possible. Now, I will agree.
True.
I do think that Triple H is one of his massive flaws is he takes way too long with storyline.
Triple H does take a long time with some of his stories nowadays, ever since he started, I guess, more full-time takeover. And sometimes they don't pay off, even when he does it that long. It's, I don't know, he needs to sit down with his creative team. Or maybe hire more people, because that Unreal table is pretty empty.
He takes way too long for us to start a story, get to the meat and potatoes of a story, and then finish the story off. He likes to start a story very long, likes to make the meat and potatoes very long, and then he likes to just quickly give us the finish so we can move on to the next story. And a lot of people don't feel like they get their money's worth of what the blow off is when they're spending all that time investing in the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, you can't. That's a lot. A lot of meat potatoes. We're getting fat over here. He likes FC Barcelona, by the way. He has a FC Barcelona thing over here. Real Madrid, man. Real Madrid.
We've seen them do storylines with Damian Priest and Aleister Black for over 6 months, and I still can't tell you who the clear winner in that story was.
No one does. Who the hell knows? I barely pay attention to that storyline because I didn't see the point.
Can't tell you what we're getting out of it for them next. Neither guy looks like he's next to win a world title.
I mean, if Saturday Night Main Event didn't show anything about Damian, Feel bad for him.
WWE constantly tries to chase a viral moment. We had John Cena literally tell us that he turned heel because they knew that would go viral. And they had nothing to follow up that type of story where they're just like, you know what? Let's try to drag it out as long as we can rather than just accept defeat and say, hey, we messed up. Let's try to fix it quickly and just go back to what our initial plan was. So you have a lot of people that get back into this product and they go, oh my God, John Cena turned heel. Now they're expecting insane stuff to happen with John Cena.
And we didn't. We didn't get anything after this. We just got John Cena telling us why he hates us.
Being a heel, and they're like, dude, he kicked Cody in the nuts. I'm going to see him have this new look.
Everyone expected a new look, new song, new attitude. He looked more like John Cena if he was a parental figure. And he was wagging the finger at all the fans as if they were his kids. You made me go this route.
I'm going to see him do different moves. I'm going to see him talk all this shit and all this different things. And then all of a sudden,
we got merch. That's right. We got heel merch. We didn't even get heel merch. What are you talking about? All the shirts look the same. He didn't change nothing. Nothing. Anyway.
Just being a weenie. It's like, oh, you
That's
guys
a better way to
turned on
say it. He was a weenie. Good one, Alan. He was a weenie, guys. John Cena as a heel will be explained as a weenie, maybe a Karen. I still think a parental figure wagging the finger still sounds about right. Because he was always trying to talk down to everyone when he was a heel. Like, he's like, you guys don't know what you want. I know what you want. I think I know better than you guys. The Blacktron was a nice touch for the heel. He pretty much took the fun. And that was his thing. He took the fun. He was a parent. He was a parent. Now that I'm thinking about it more, I don't know, Alan. You can say weenie. I think he was a parent. When a parent's mad at you, what do? They punish you and they take all the fun out of your life until you learn your lesson. And that was John Cena. He took the music. He didn't take the music. That was his. He took the colorful videos. He still gave us the shirts because I guess, and I think he explained that WWE pivot this whole heel turn. So they already produced probably all these shirts. So there's not much they can do about it right now. So they went with it. But he made himself look like the most boring champion ever. He never took risks. He always cheated as a typical heel. He took the fun out of wrestling from us as a heel. So yeah, he was a parent.
It's like,
so this was a good segment though. It was reverse roles between CM Punk and John Cena.
When CM Punk came out as Thugonomics John Cena.
That was good though. Come on, guys. To see Punk in something you don't expect Punk to wear, come on. That was hilarious as hell.
Just your television.
When you had the R-Truth stuff happen. But all of that felt like that was viral moments just to get social media views. And WWE loves to shove that down our throat. They love to tell us, oh, we broke a record and got 300 million social media views on this moment, 500 million.
We crashed the gate. We crashed the gate to the Clash of the Castle. We got overselling. We sold 85,000 seats. We were on social media all night and hit records. I got the Red Diamond YouTube icon. I'm almost up there with Mr. Beast. I'm soon going to get Mr. Beast to show up. He's going to be a wrestler too. Let's go.
Social media views on this moment and stuff like that. And they're just trying to chase that dopamine rush that you can get from a TikTok. Your 30-second to 1-minute TikTok, but you have a 3-hour show. And then you have a lot of these fans that end up coming back and they see these young superstars, but they're not invested. They didn't see the come up. The amount of people that told us that Jey Uso was corny and should have never won the title, and they never saw the buildup of what happened when he was right-hand man Jey Uso. They never saw how he got to this opportunity of being World Heavyweight Champion.
We earned that.
Why he beat John Cena in the Royal Rumble. Didn't make any sense to them, right? Why is this random guy that I remember painting his face in the Uso tag team even in consideration for this? And when a lot of these NXT superstars come up, they're like, who the hell is this guy? Why is this guy even here? Get this guy out of the way, bring Chris Jericho back in. So I personally think that social...
Yo, why people expect all these old-timers to show up and think you'll get what you used to get? It's not going to happen. You got to invest in the younger talent. Stop. Chris Jericho will be great to see him back, but he's not going to be the same Jericho as before. Stop it.
Social media has been the biggest blessing and the biggest curse on WWE. My question that I'd really like to know is how do we de-rot people's brains and how do we convince the WWE that you don't need to chase the social media views? You need to build better storylines that keep everyone invested and keeps everyone satiated on the entertainment they want. What do you think the WWE has to do? How do they fix it? And how do we TikTokify our brain?
Let me start by saying clearly off the bat, because I want to make sure this tone matters and there's no disrespect. I actually agree with a lot of what Alan Zones is saying here. Social media has absolutely helped WWE grow. Triple H absolutely needs to tighten up storytelling, especially when it comes to pacing and payoff, because it's been off this past year. And yes, there are moments where WWE does drag stories for too long and then they rush to finish. I know, like with when John Cena at SummerSlam, he all of a sudden became face again, out of freaking nowhere. But that's them. It's their job, because if we start commenting on that, they'll say, "Oh, you don't know what we're doing." Okay. Anyway, this all is, as he says, is to chase a viral pop without a follow through. That part of the argument, completely with him. To the point. Let's go. Where I respectfully disagree, though, is the idea that fans' brains are rotted because of social media, or that it is somehow a failure, that it's a failure of the audience rather than a reflection on how media is consumed in 2026 or even in 2025. The reality of modern media consumption is social media at this point. Social media didn't break wrestling fans. Social media changed the world, how we consume media. Short form content isn't a WWE decision or invention. It's how younger audience now consume everything, whether it's music, movies, sports, news, even politics. And yes, it's gonna be wrestling as well. For a long portion of today's audience, use TikTok, YouTube, Shorts, Instagram Reels are the front door. These are the front door form of content for most younger people today. And it's not a side dish like most of us see it, or most of people in my age at least sees it. That's not a moral failure at all. That's not a moral failure. That's more of how our generational behavior acts now. And here's where I think the conversation needs a little bit of honesty. And now I'm just going to go pull up this page, his page, to be honest. Alan owns himself, and no disrespect, like, because he's using the same thing that WWE is doing, and I'm using, and any content media uses now. Alan owns himself grew largely, and you can see it here, through short form viral content. Now, that doesn't invalidate his opinion, but it does complicate it. You can't benefit from viral short attention span content as a creator and then act shocked when a billion-dollar entertainment company does the same thing. Now, I get it that he's saying WWE should focus on the long-form storytelling or storytelling in general and not focus on short-term content to do things just for short-term content. I totally get it. But WWE is seriously, I think they're still young, and so is the other wrestling companies. They're still young and trying to understand how to make wrestling work with short-term content. Like how to make what they're used to doing and how to adapt it to the new thing. We're still in that transition period. It's annoying, I get it, but we're dealing with it. It's the same way when other eras began. You know, WWE didn't invent the algorithm when it comes to social media. They adapted to it just like us creators did, or like better creators that are not me. I'm trying to still get there. And if you know the history of WWE always chased what's hot at that time. This is the part fans sometimes forget. WWE has always chased what's hot. Example, in the 80s, rock and wrestling. They were chasing the MTV and pop culture of that era. Hulkamania, chasing through Saturday morning cartoons and toys. Attitude Era. Come on, guys. Trash TV. Shock value. Anti-heroes. That was the WWE back then. Ruthless aggression. Ruthless aggression, guys. Reality TV energy was mostly what you would think when it comes to ruthless aggression. They all about aggression and all about the spectacle. Now today, when it comes to WWE and what they're trying to figure out is dealing with social media, dealing with viral content so they are always remembered, and creating global celebrities. If WWE didn't chase what's hot throughout all these years, we wouldn't have WWE the way it is now. We wouldn't have WWE at all, probably. It would have died back in the 80s, maybe. We wouldn't have Logan Paul being in WWE. We wouldn't have Bad Bunny showing up at wrestling events or any of these people. I Show Speed wouldn't show up. I Show Speed wouldn't do a special video of him trying to train to be a WWE wrestler. But guess what? All of these appearances worked somehow because they brought eyeballs to the product. They brought money and they brought new fans. For the better or worse of it, they brought new fans. And if we're going to compare the Attitude Era, how they did things, come on, guys. The Attitude Era wasn't just Crash TV. Alan Owens is right that the Attitude Era was Crash TV, but that wasn't happening in a vacuum. The Attitude Era existed because of other trash content going on at that time. Jerry Springer style trash TV we had Maury, or whoever watches that show too. You're the father, blah, blah, blah. Anti-heroes in movies and music was a thing back then. The Crow, that's a perfect example. The rise of the early internet, so more information was being out there. Blurred lines were at the beginning of being dismantled. Back in my day, it was called WWS. Okay, right, you say. Fave was starting to crack during the Attitude Era, and real backstage drama started becoming storyline fuel. Best examples of that is the Curtain Call, the Montreal Screwjob, the whole feud between Shawn and Bret Hart. We had work shoots. We had reality bleeding into fiction. That era targeted young adults at that time. Us, Alan, other people, the Machoverse. There's a bunch of people at Target, even the people here with me today watching this. The Attitude Era targeted the young audience at that time. People who are now in their 30s and 40s, which unfortunately, and as much as we hate it, leads to an uncomfortable truth. And this truth can be applied to other fandoms. WWE has never been built around aging fans. And that goes for other fandoms. WWE will always respect the adult fans that age with them, but it will never prioritize them over the younger ones. Why? Because the younger audience, they grow up as well with the product just like they did with us. But during that grow up, they buy the merch for decades, like video games, cards, wrestling shirts, belts, action figures, Funko Pops. And then eventually they grow up and bring in the next generation to wrestling. Their kids, their nephews and nieces, so on and so forth. This keeps the ecosystem alive for WWE. That's what kept them alive for years. This is why they've been surviving for all these years. This cycle has always existed since Vince McMahon took over in the 80s. Every era proves it. Why did he lean so hard into social media today? WWE isn't just chasing clout. They're building 24/7 engagement even after the show finishes from going live. They have over 100 million views on YouTube subscribers, over 1 billion followers across all their platforms. Second screen content during live shows has become more and more of a thing now. Global reach without TV barriers is now a thing. Constant character exposure beyond Monday and Friday nights. So if you get talked weirdly in social media by some wrestlers, I would just say they're in their persona. Not a big deal. Social media helps drive ticket sales. They help drive merch. They help drive TV rating. But at this point, TV ratings is indifferent for WWE. Their focus is social media. It builds emotional investment, and that's more strategic than accidental. The trade-off for WWE has chosen now is here where Alan Owens' criticism does land. WWE's focus on moments sometimes comes at the expense of narrative consistency. That is true. These viral pops bring attention fast. It does create buzz, but don't always sustain depth. Some fans want long-term storytelling. WWE often wants immediate emotional impact, and that tension is real. But here's some other key points. You can't judge WWE for doing what creators also do. Most of us, the older content creators, have put WWE there because that's what people started watching. They lost attention from their content. They're like, no. We gotta get into that. We gotta get into this social media and get those fans back. Because some of the other content creator, and I'm not speaking on Alan Owens, like people even older than him, like older eras of YouTube that's talked about wrestling, they talked about wrestling, and people enjoy hearing them more than actually investing all this time watching so many shows. And now it's become even more of a thing because how many companies we have now? Now we have 3 good, decent companies that you can watch We have AEW, we have WWE, and we have TNA now that it's in a more broader network with AMC. But then you have all the indie shows that also started being able to be on Fightful TV. You can even watch New Japan wrestling events at, I believe, in Fightful TV. So you have so many avenues that you can watch this. Even some indies show their events on YouTube. So there's so much content out there. So now everyone's fighting for this attention. And unfortunately, the attention span of younger audience is shorter than ours. So WWE and other companies have to fight that. How do I get your attention in 30 seconds? And if it means doing these viral moments, unfortunately, that's the bad part. But I do have to say, if creators criticize WWE for changing virality, then the challenge becomes this. Are we willing to stop chasing it too? Make content without worrying about reach, without sponsors backed into the video, without constant event chasing, without algorithm bait thumbnails, without viral hooks? I don't think so. It's a thing that is normal now, and so we have to adapt to it or cease for our content to not exist as well. You can join me and have only 10 views per video. Chatmaku's saying there's another network called Title Match Network. Yes, I think Chris Alba was talking about it on the Jeff Hardy video. If not, then if we're not willing to do that, then criticism will have its limits. But anyway, let's get back to this. Because when creators benefit from all the same ecosystem they're criticizing, the argument becomes more about frustration than fairness. So here's my final thought, and we can move on from this. Alan Zones did raise very important points in this video, and he's not wrong about WWE needing to do better with storytelling and disciplining themselves to do better storytelling. But WWE didn't fail the fans, in my opinion. They adapted to the world fans live in now. The real conversation isn't did social media ruin wrestling? It's how does wrestling companies balance viral reach and meaningful stories in a short form content world? I think that's the real challenge, and I think that's where we're adapting towards. And that's a conversation worth having without pretending any of us are about the system we're all operating in. That's the tea drop. Thank you, everyone. If you have comments, please let me know in the chat, and I'll see you in the next one. Please don't forget to follow Alan Zones Wrestling on YouTube. He is a good content creator. I love having these type of conversations where people have different opinions. I think this is a good point he pointed out, but I think we are still in an era of transition between old form of content and this new social media world. And I'm hoping within a few years' time, WWE and other companies can make this work. So until then, I'll see you on the next one.